a continent of extraordinary promise, innovation, and a deep cultural heritage that has shaped humanity itself. Yet, on the other hand, we continue to grapple infrastructural deficits, widespread unemployment, poverty, and recurrent governance failures that have constrained our progress. This is the paradox of our age. How can a continent so richly blessed remain so constrained? How can such abundance coexist with scarcity? Such useful energy is stifled by fragility. This tension defines Africa's present moment, a moment of both urgency and immense possibility. At the heart of this paradox lies the decisive factor of leadership. Leadership remains the fulcrum upon which the destinies of nations turn. It determines whether our vast resources become a blessing or a curse, become strength or division, whether our challenges become stumbling blocks or stepping stones. When leadership is visionary, accountable, and courageous, even the most daunting obstacles can be transformed into opportunities. But leadership must also create the enabling environment for transformation by providing the critical infrastructure that attracts investment, drives productivity, and sustains growth. At present, the level of investment in Africa remains minimal, precisely because of infrastructural decay and policy inconsistency. Roads, power, railways, and digital connectivity are the arteries through which development flows. Without them, the economy cannot freely breathe. It is to be deeply regretted that Africa continues to export raw materials and import finished goods, a cycle that perpetuates dependency and stifles industrial growth. This situation is unhealthy for sustainable development, which has eluded the continent for far too long. Africa today, leadership that not only dreams, but dares, not only commands, but serves, not only governs, but transforms. That leadership in the 21st century to Africa's future. We must first reveal leadership itself. The time has come to move beyond transnational leadership, the kind driven by personal gain, patronage, and short-term calculations. To embrace transformational leadership rooted in vision, courage, service, and accountability. Leadership must not exploit, empower. It must not rule or serve. It must not merely transact or transform. Many commentators agree that the greatest impediment to Africa's progress and the chronic element development for decades is the blend of poor and mediocre leadership. Across the continent today, both military and civilian dispensations, leaders have often emerged through self-serving conspiracies that bear little or no relation to national interest or development. Consequently, many African nations have been saddled with leaders unprepared for the enormity of leadership. The result is a tragic pattern of groping in the dark, with nations endlessly experimenting with the fundamentals of development, basic infrastructure, primary health care, functional economy, efficient democratic and judicial systems, and credible institutions. The 21st century calls for a new kind of African leaders who are prepared, principled, and passionate. Leaders who embody vision, one at a time, and resilient. Leaders who believe in Africa's boundless possibilities and act decisively to unlock them. They must be bold enough to make difficult but necessary decisions. They must be bold enough to make difficult but necessary decisions. Proactive enough to anticipate the future and committed enough to build systems that prioritize excellence over mediocrity, performance over politics. The leadership that Africa deserves in the 21st century is one that is about caring rather than controlling. A true leader must see himself as a servant, humbled by the weight of responsibility he carries for the welfare of the people. Africa is in urgent need of servant leaders. Leaders who do not see themselves as bosses, but as mentors, genuinely committed to the building of communities and of movement of people. Harry Savage and John C. Maxwell captured this distinction beautifully. I quote, "A boss drives his team. A leader guides them. A boss relies on authority. A leader relies on trust and goodwill. A boss inspires fear. A leader inspires enthusiasm. A boss, a leader says, we. A boss demands punctuality. A leader is early to lead by example. A boss blames when things go wrong. A leader fixes the problem. A boss knows the path. A leader walks it with the team. A boss says, go. A leader rallies his people with, let's go together. True leadership then is not about position of power, but about inspiring, serving, and joining with those you lead. This is the kind of leadership Africa must embrace if we are to move from stagnation to transformation. Leadership is not an abstract feeling. It is a living reality where bold vision meets purposeful action. Here in Abuja, we have witnessed how infrastructural renewal, anchored on political will and strategic investment, can turn aspiration into achievement. Roads that were once impassable are now open. Bridges connect communities. Public spaces, once abandoned, now thrive with life, enterprise, and hope. These are not mere structures of concrete and steel. They are symbols of what is possible when leadership dares to dream and to deliver. President Tinubu's commitment to difficult but necessary reforms further reminds us that leadership is ultimately about sacrifice for the greater good. For the first day of his presidency, Tinubu demonstrated courage by confronting one of Nigeria's most challenges, the removal of the fuel subsidy. Let me briefly, but when I was talking about leadership, I said you must take decision, very difficult decision, that you are being confronted with. That's what makes about leadership. When a leader cannot take decisions at challenging times, then that's not leadership. All of us are aware today, so many states can say we have resources to carry out development. We have resources to provide infrastructure. We are no longer running around banks. We are not looking for how banks will give us money. So much money is now in the hands of state. But what is important, what you use the money for is a different thing. But leadership has been provided by taking a decision that can make this money to be available to the various states. What the states do with FCT is not a concern of those that leadership is given to. For me, giving me the responsibility as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, I have that political will without any apologies to anybody to make sure Abuja competes with other cities of the world. I have taken a decision that so many people thought that why will he do this? Can he stand this? 3 days ago, I was informed that the police was constructing houses under the high tension, and the development control went there to say, no, you cannot do this. The police arrested them. And according to the IG operation, you arrested them. I will go there by myself, and I will not allow it to happen. And I went there. I saw the high tension. And I said, look, we must say that you cannot, under my leadership, this will not be allowed. And I told the government control, bring down the buildings. Heaven will not fall. Heaven will not rest. And as I speak to you, heaven is at rest. That is leadership. It doesn't matter who is involved. It's leadership. People come to us, you know that things are wrong. What you are doing is wrong. It has nothing to do with the political party you belong to. It has nothing to do with Jeff. No. People talk about criminals taking over the entire Abuja. It's okay. We'll go and locate them. We'll identify where they are. And we went. I will say, oh, these are shanties. We will not allow these shanties in the city. Bring them down. I saw on television so many people carrying placards. Wicked is this. Wicked is that. Yes, that's leadership. That's leadership. Somebody has to take decision. And I have taken the decision. You are not there to satisfy a particular person. Leadership is about the people. It's about the people. Oh, somebody converse in area. They say he's a former chief of this, he's a former this of this. That's a fact. Who approves this? Nobody. The law does not know that about former or present. The law must take its, take it away. Of course, in the next few hours, phone calls everywhere. I didn't change. That is leadership. That is leadership. You may not be right, but you must take a position. And that's what this present government is doing. People forget where we were yesterday. The day Mr. President, I don't know how many people will be in a position to take that decision. So bold, very difficult decision. That where that sacrifices must be made. A lot of us are crying. How can you remove fuel subsidy? How can you do it? The masses are suffering. We agree. But your view, it is fraudulent. And so took that decision. Within that short time, things appear that no heavens will go down. By the grace of God, that decision he took, very difficult decision, that made a lot of prices of wealth up, this up. But today things are stabilizing. When I had been put in place, when I was a governor, we never shared more than 500 billion naira in a month for the Federation Account. Never. I've never had more than 10-15 billion in a month. Today, states are sharing not less than 2 trillion every month. Why? Because of the removal of the fuel subsidy. Then now, as the leader of the FCT, as the leader of State A, as the leader of B, as the leader of State C, it goes on them, on us, to provide leadership. Leadership that is not transactional. Leadership that is commitment. Leadership that provides infrastructure. 2 days ago, when a weird district contract was awarded to develop Weyi district, 2009. 16 years ago, a contract to develop a district. 2009. And we're 2025. 16 years ago. And I asked you, where was the leadership to develop a district that has about 7 or something hectares of land, provide roads and the basic infrastructure for people to move in, for residences, and carry out their economic activities, commercial activities? No way. But today you have a leadership that says, look, we can't continue this way. We must have to fix it. It took that leadership 2 years to fix it. Today, everybody who said we are, or those one of you who have access to we, you cannot see. A country like this, just to have ordinary, that's very common in the world. For train stations to operate became difficult. Millions of dollars. It requires a strong leadership, a transformational leadership, not leadership based on ethnicity, not not leadership based on religion, but leadership that is focused, that transformational. I remember when the Nigerian Bar Association had the annual general conference here in Abuja. You know, I'm still used to so you have to pardon me. And the president said, "That city, I want to ride on the train to the airport. I want to. I'm not interested in land. I want to ride on that train." It didn't take us 1 year. That train is working, it's operational. That is transformational here. That leadership and focus. That's what Mr. President has done. And here, Nigeria, in Africa, we only talk about leadership based on where you come from. Leadership based on relationship. So Africa cannot talk about development. Africa cannot talk about progress if leadership is transactional, if leadership is based on relationship, if leadership is not transformational. Forget it. Forget it. And I believe, by the grace of God, Nigeria is going to see a new narrative. I know that a lot of us are not patient. Yes. But you forget that things have been so bad. So bad. There's nowhere somebody is sick. Stop. Or a prophet calls you. Nina. It's different. So you are healed, go. It's different. This requires time. This requires taking tough decisions. And then it will take time before it will see the results. But by the grace of God, the results are coming quickly. All we need to do is to be patient. Equally, transformative leadership, equally transformative is his effort to decentralize governance and address the structural imbalance. I was talking about what the president was doing. So, so that it can flow. Today, this bold decision of Mr. President is beginning to yield results. States and local governments now receive higher revenues for development. The burden of debt accumulation is easy. The price of petrol is gradually aligning with market realities under sound regulatory oversight. Equally transformative is the present effort to decentralize governance and address the structural imbalance of over-centralization. Through the creation of zonal and regional commissions, President Tinubu is developing development closer to the people, an essential step towards genuine federalism. In the area of security, his administration has invested in the training and retraining of the armed forces and approved the recruitment of forest guards nationwide to reclaim ungoverned spaces from bandits and terrorists. These and other terrorist measures are repositioning Nigeria towards stability, productivity, and growth. Yet, it must be emphasized that no leader, however visionary or determined, can succeed without the support and cooperation of the people. No matter how strong, no matter how visionary, no matter how courageous a leader is, without the support of the people, that leadership will never materialize. The burden and glory of national transformation must be shared. History teaches us that no nation progresses without synergy between its leadership and followership. There must be a synergy between leadership and followership. For example, Dubai, for example, attained global prominence through the unity of purpose between a decisive leader and a believing people. For us, Yasser Jara observed, I quote, Dubai had a leader who acted quickly and decisively, not shaken by challenges, and had his people backing him and believing in his vision. End of quote. If we can imagine leadership across Africa in this same spirit, leadership that builds, not blames, that inspires, not divides, that empowers, not dominates, then no mountain will be too high, no challenge too great, and no dream too ambitious for our continent. The time for belief is here. The time for action is now. Together with visionary leadership and a committed citizenry, Africa can begin to realize the continent of its dreams. Africa stands today at the threshold of destiny, a continent rich in promise, yet still wrestling with the lingering weight of dependence. For too long, Africa has looked outward for solutions to problems that can only be solved from within. The time has come for Africa to come of age and rise beyond the rhetoric of aid and dependency, and to take deliberate, courageous decisions to chart its own path towards self-reliance, prosperity, and global relevance. Foreign aid, once embraced, is a bridge to development, has too often become a crutch that weakens resolve and distorts priorities. Development cannot be donated, it must be built. No nation or continent has ever achieved greatness through the benevolence of others. Must be crafted, not in the conference rooms of donor agencies. Our future, hear me well, our future must be crafted not in the conference rooms of donor agencies, but in the creative laboratories. If we invest in our youth through education, digital literacy, entrepreneurship, and skills training, we will unleash the greatest demographic dividend in human history. Already, Africa's youth political way. When leadership builds the enabling environment, stable power, strong institutions, transparent policies, and visionary governance, investment flows. Africa's greatest resource is not its oil, its minerals, or its fertile soil. It is its people. Across the world, Africa are excelling in technology, science, business, and the arts. They lead corporations, laboratories, and creative industries that shape global culture and commerce. If they can thrive abroad, they can thrive even more at home. What Africa needs is not personal philanthropy, but unity. Once the environment is right, Africa will not only retain its talent, but also attract the world's best minds to its shores. This is why we must rethink how investment is conceived and executed on our continent. Africa is not a place of charity. Africa is a partner, a market, and a laboratory of innovation. Investment should not be about extraction, but empowerment. Not about exploitation, but collaboration. When investment is homegrown and inclusive, it becomes the lifeblood of transformation, building confidence, nurturing enterprise, and geographic energy into economic power. In this regard, Africa has walked this road before. In 1980, under the Organization of African Unity, as that was, our leaders adopted the Lagos Plan of Action, a bold Pan-African blueprint for economic self-reliance, industrialization, and regional integration. It was a visionary document that sought to place Africa's destiny in African hands. Unfortunately, it faltered not for lack of vigor, but because of external pressures, mounting debt, the imposition of social adjustment program, and limited political will eroded its foundation. Western prescriptions dismantled local priorities, while unity among African nations weakened our collective resolve. Yet, the dream did not die. 4 decades later, it is being reborn to the African continental free trade area, the most ambitious project of economic integration in African history. The AFRIC represents the modern awakening of the Lagos vision to build a single market for goods, services, and ideas driven by Africans, traded by Africans, and consumed by Africans. With 1.4 billion people and a combined GDP exceeding $3 trillion, Africa is no longer a peripheral actor in the global economy. It is the next epicenter of global growth. The AFTA is not just a trade agreement, it is a declaration of intent that Africa will no longer accept to be a supplier of raw material and a dumping ground for finished goods. It is the cornerstone of Africa's second liberation. The liberation of this economy, it offers a renewed chance to industrialize certain regional value chains and negotiate global partnership from a position of strength. Through regional integration, Africa can finally replace aid with trade and dependency with dignity. Africa's future lies in the hands of Africans who believe in the power of their own ideas and ingenuity. The world has seen what Africa can do when it believes, when it uses ancient civilization that still astonish scholars, when it produces leaders who change the course of history, and when its sons and daughters abroad lead global innovation. That same spirit of greatness still resides within us. The time has come to believe again, not in promises made abroad, but in the promise that beats within our continent's heart. When we unite our markets, harness our talents, and invest in our own future, we will not need to chase the world. The world will come chasing us. The rebels of Africa will not be reaching in journal reports or policy prescriptions, but in the ingenuity of our people, the integrity of our leaders, and the industriousness of our youth and women. Africa must now rise above age, recover her strength, and rebuild her institution. We must remember that no one can do as much for us as we can do for ourselves. And that in this world of concrete interest, there is no free lunch and no lasting handout. Let us therefore imagine investment, reclaim our self-reliance, and reposition Africa not as a continent waiting for benevolence, but as a continent prepared to lead. The future of global prosperity will be written here on African soil by African hands and for the glory of Africa and all humanity. My closing reflection is a ladies and gentlemen. Emerging African leadership and investment is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is an urgent call to action. Our continent can no longer afford incremental change. The time has come for transformational change. Let me be clear. Africa's future not be given to us. We must build it, and we must build it now. The future I see is an Africa where leadership is rooted in service and integrity, not in privilege and power. Where investment fuels inclusive growth, lifting millions from poverty into prosperity. Where youth and women stand at the forefront, driving innovation, creativity and governance. Where infrastructure becomes the great equalizer, connecting communities and economies, and where Africa speaks with one voice, not as 55 fragmented states, but as one dynamic continent, reimagined, renewed, and resolute in purpose. The question before us is not whether Africa can rise, but whether we possess the courage to lead, the wisdom to invest, and the will to unite. History will not remember what we merely dreamed for Africa. History will remember what we did for Africa. It will judge us not by our rhetoric, but by our actions and results. Let us therefore leave this conference not with lofty words, but with firm commitments to live differently, to invest boldly, and to believe radically in the limited potential of our continent. The time is now. The place is here. The responsibility is ours, and the future unambiguously belongs to Africa. Let me conclude by wishing you all a truly enriching and inspiring engagement. May this gathering renew our collective resolve to guide, challenge, and propel African leaders and investors toward the noble task of transforming our continent from a mere land of promise to a land of fulfillment, dignity, and shared prosperity. God bless you. God bless Africa. And God bless the people.
Thank you so much. That was His Excellency Nzenwo Newsom Wike. Sir, you spoke with so much grace and so much knowledge. It's always great to hear you speak. We are so glad for all the work that you're doing in Nigeria, and we're glad to see development, and we're so, thank you. And it's always great to see the work and see what is happening in Nigeria constantly.
I mean, that was beyond a keynote. That was actually a master class in transformational leadership and decision making. Another round of applause, please, for Mr. Project, our one and only 001. We are grateful, sir. And also, on his entourage, we would like to recognize a few distinguished guests here with us that came in with the Honorable Minister. We have here Chief Ferdinand Alabraba. A round of applause, please. Let's please give him a round of applause. We have Senator Ma Ohafunwa. A round of applause, please, for him. We have also here distinguished Senator Philip Aduda. A round of applause, please, for him. We also have distinguished Senator Magnus Abe here with us. A round of applause, please, for him. We have also with us Professor Senator Sandy Ono. A round of applause, please. And we have Honorable Ken Chikere. A round of applause, please, for us. And up next, we will be receiving a brief remark from our chairman and keynote speaker, Professor Mazi Sam Ohamwa, OFR, MON, the founding chairman and CEO of NIMET International Pharmaceuticals, PLC. Can we please give him a round of applause?
Yeah, well, that's fine. You're not the first.
He said he got one, but I think we have a new professor today, Professor Nesio Wike, and we this big hands together. He is the current professor on the stand. Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, here of the House of Representatives, especially the representative of the Deputy Speaker, very distinguished guest speakers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so pleased that our minister turned up and has given us a very stirring speech. Very, very stirring, very motivating, and in sync with the foundation we had laid at the beginning. I made an opening speech in the keynote speaking about reimagining leadership, what I call power metamorphosis, and that was critical for reigniting the kind of leapfrogging we need in economic growth. And as if I set up what I call a text, a foundational thesis on what leadership was, and reimagining what leadership meant. And the moment we have our former governor and FCT minister speak, you can see a combination. First, he validated the points I made in my presentation of the caliber of leadership we needed to drive Africa to renaissance, to get us back to become a competitive continent, to be able to stand with the rest of the world and regain our place, both in the economic placement, the social values, and human development indices, where we have fallen back several years. And Professor Wike did not only validate that thesis, but he gave us a case study of Nigeria, situating it with what is happening, both the kind of leadership that the current president is providing, what we call the courageous and audacious leadership, and the extrapolation in terms of policy evolution, policy implementation, in terms of moving ideas to realities, in terms of taking proposition to execution. And we have seen what is happening in the FCT as a clear manifestation of that. We can dream, but that dream must be realizable. We can project, that projection must see light of the day. We can wish, but that wish must be turned into reality. And that's what our governor and current minister has presented to us today to Africa. And he says he's giving statistics, giving verifiable evidence, since we're in FCT. So if you doubted any of the things you said, please get a guide and move around FCT. If you knew FCT 3 years ago and you came to FCT today, you will see a whole world of difference. Like him, criticize him, the man is a man of action. You know, leadership theorists and professors tell you there are all kinds of different types of leadership styles. You have the autocratic, you have the democratic, you have the consensual, you have the alliance-prayers, you have the charismatic, and different types of leadership. And they've asked us in a leadership class, which is the best form of leadership. And of course, you can come with your answers. But we've always agreed that the best leadership type is the one that produces the desired result, isn't it, professors here? That's our conclusion. That you may not be happy with people's leadership styles, but what is important is what is the result that is produced. And that's what is critical, because that result will more than pay for every inconvenience the style cost. So I want to thank you, Honorable Minister and former Governor, for this speech, which dealt extensively with the theme of the conference, Reimagine Africa Leadership and Investment. And you covered it from head to toe. There's nothing you left. So the subsequent speakers here today will see there's something derivable. I know Dr. Lagos, who is a transformative leadership exponent, was shaking his head throughout the time the professor UK was speaking, because he saw a link between what he proposes and speaks to what UK was also expounding, and not just expanding from a theoretical academic base, but showing its practice in the economic and marketplace. So thank you, Honorable Minister, for honoring us with your distinguished presence. It's not easy to get you. I know how many conferences I've personally invited you to, but you're here today, which showed that you regarded this African platform to give us these treasuries and to give us what Africa can work with. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are set to move to the next level of this conference. It's given us enough to work on, and I believe we will chew through it today, and hopefully it will digest and we'll be able to produce results. Thank you, Honorable Minister, and thank you for all the very distinguished class of professors and leaders that accompany our minister and give him all the support. I was speaking with a friend today that each time the minister is seated and he looks around and sees the face of these distinguished leaders, he is inspired. And I think he derives a lot of inspiration by looking at your faces. Thank you for the support you give him, because a leader needs partnership, he needs support. And leadership is never a single man's business. As he said in his speech, it's a collective. And I know everybody's playing one role or the other. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Hi again. Thank you. Our next keynote speech is by Honorable Benjamin Okalo, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is being represented by Honorable Oluwole Oke, who is the Chairman Committee of Foreign Affairs for the House of Representatives. We're actually going to take a pause real quick, and then we'll get right back.
Is the Deputy Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing the Bendi Federal Constituency of Abia State. A seasoned legislator, legal practitioner, and international businessman, Dr. Okalo brings over 2 decades of impactful service across public and private sectors. He previously served as chairman of Bendi Local Government and as executive advisor to the governor of Abia State on Millennium Development Goals and international relations. As deputy speaker and chairman of the House Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, he leads a national effort to strengthen democracy and inclusion. Internationally, he represents Nigeria at the ECOWAS Parliament, the Pan-African Parliament, and the Inter-Parliamentary Union, an accomplished scholar with degrees from the University of Abuja, Oxford Brookes University, and the University of Calabar. Dr. Kalu is also a Harvard-trained leader and a recognized advocate for peace and development. Through the Peace in the Southeast Project and the Benjamin Kalu Foundation, he continues to promote dialogue, empowerment, and national unity. Honored with the National Award for Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Dr. Kalu stands as a visionary leader, shaping a more inclusive and prosperous Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Deputy Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu.
Honorable Right Benjamin Kalu is going to be represented by Honorable Oluwale Oke, who is the Chairman Committee of Foreign Affairs, and he is going to come speak to us next. Round of applause, please. Thank you.
The chairman of this occasion, distinguished senators present here, permit me to stand on existing protocol. My name is Oluwale Oke, representing the good people of Ijesha North, Osun State. I have the privilege to stand in for my leader, the Deputy Speaker of the House, at this occasion. The Deputy Speaker had 14 pages presentation. But because of time management, I've requested the organizers of this event to send the 14 pages note, soft copy, to persons that might be interested. We have abridged these 14 pages into fewer pages so that we can efficiently manage this occasion. Mr. Deputy Speaker's speech goes as follows. This century started with great expectations. 25 years ago, the world spoke of Africa rising. Commodity super cycles were lifting economies across our continent. From Lagos to Nairobi, mobile telecommunications was connecting millions for the first time. Democracy was spreading. And with the end of apartheid in South Africa still fresh in our collective memory, we dared to believe that a new era of peace and prosperity was finally within reach. The global economy promised to deliver. And here, in forums like this, world leaders discussed how technology, trade liberalization, and global cooperation could help lift Africa out of poverty. It was the promise of a more integrated, more just world order, a world where Africa would no longer be on the periphery, but would take its rightful place at the table. 25 years on, has this promise been fulfilled? The answer is complex. Yes, Africa today is more connected than ever before. We have the fastest growing youth population in the world. 60% of Africans are under the age of 25. Nigeria alone has attracted over $4.6 billion in tech startup investment since 2020. The African continent free trade area holds the promise of a single market of 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. But we have also started factoring along the new lines. On the one hand, intra-African trade is expanding. New undersea cables are connecting our cities to the global internet. Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and renewable energy innovations are poised to change our way of life and work. African innovators are solving problems that the rest of the world has not yet figured out. From mobile money systems that have become global models to off-grid solar solutions, powering rural communities. On the other hand, the economies of countries in Africa remain dangerously dependent on a narrow range of commodities. Agriculture still employs over 60% of African workforce, but contributes only 15% of GDP. Manufacturing remains stuck at 10% of GDP, far below the 25% average in East Asia. Our infrastructure deficit remains steep. 130 billion to 170 billion USD annually is needed to close the gap. This deficit costs us 2% of our GDP growth every year. And perhaps, most troubling of all, Africa's share of global manufacturing value added has declined from 3% in 1970 to less than 2% today. This is the paradox of Africa's 21st century so far. We have growth, but not transformation. We have opportunity, but not diversification. We have potential, but not productivity. And this is why we are gathered here today. Because the challenge before Africa is not just to grow, it is to transform. It is not just to export more. It is to diversify. It is not just to survive the global economy. It is to shape it. The path forward from policy to action. Ladies and gentlemen, I have outlined 8 policy pathways, but pathways are useless unless we work them. And the question before Africa today is simple. Do we have the political will to act? And the question, because, let me be clear, transformation is not easy. It requires difficult choices. It requires short-term pain for a long-term gain. It requires us to industrialize from extraction to production, from subsistence agriculture to agribusiness, education of skills development, from diploma to competencies, infrastructure, internet, from deficit to connectivity, trade and regional integration, invention and technology policy, green growth policies, and institutional and government reforms. This is the presentation of my leader, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House. I want to wish all of us fruitful deliberations. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Honorable Oluwole. That was amazing. Thank you so much for being able to represent the country, as well as Right Honorable that was unable to make it today. We are now going to take a tea break. I know you guys have heard amazing speeches. After this, we will be going into our panels, but we want to give you a chance to refresh, connect with some folks, be able to network, exchange LinkedIns, and just get to know each other. We have some tea and refreshments in the lobby, as well as we have bathrooms in the lobby as well. So we will see you guys in approximately 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before? Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
But the renewed spirit of the troops, backed by air support from the Nigerian Air Force component, ensured that the insurgents were overpowered and more than 50 terrorists neutralized in the process. Recovered from the battlefield were 38 AK-47 rifles, 7 PKT machine guns, 5 rocket-propelled grenade tubes, 2 general-purpose machine guns, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Field intelligence revealed that the attackers who struck in Dekwa and Gajibo infiltrated from the Cameroon axis, while those who hit Katarko emerged from the notorious Timbuktu Triangle, a long-time terrorist enclave. Some gallant soldiers sustained injuries during the various encounters, while terrorists also deployed drones and RPGs, setting parts of a defense ablaze in Mafa and Dikwa. Despite the temporary breach, troops rallied back, forcing the insurgents to retreat. Military authorities say over 70 wounded fighters are still being pursued by ground forces in close coordination with the air component. The Defense Headquarters has hailed the courage, doggedness and professionalism of the troops, stressing that the latest victory is proof of the military's renewed charge and resolve to secure the Northeast. With more boosts on the ground and critical combat enablers deployed into the theater, the military says it remains resolute to defend Nigeria's territorial integrity. For many in the Northeast, the latest feat is a reminder that despite the odds, the fight against insurgency is far from lost. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
The House of Representatives has opened investigations into alleged non-repatriation of Nigeria's crude oil export proceeds, estimated at over $850 billion between 1996 and 2014. Lawmakers described the development as a massive revenue leakage, undermining the nation's economic stability. Chairman of the House Ad Hoc Committee on Pre-Shipment Inspection of Exports and Non-Repatriation of Crude Oil Proceeds, Sheyi Sonwumi, stated during the committee's inaugural meeting. He said recent allegations suggest a significant breakdown in compliance with the Pre-Shipment Inspection of Exports Act, with operators in the oil and gas sector reportedly failing to repatriate between 40 and 45% of Nigeria's crude oil export proceeds.
Before the enactment of the Act in 1996, Nigeria suffered endemic leakages in the form of undervaluation, delayed invoicing, price manipulation, illegal swap, and deliberate overloading. Recent allegations suggest a significant breakdown in compliance by relevant stakeholders. It is alleged that operators in oil and gas industry failed to repatriate an estimated of 40 to 45% of Nigerian crude oil export proceeds, amounting to approximately $850 billion between 1996 to 2014, in clear contravention of the law.
And finally, on the news, across the African continent, health systems are under growing pressure from multiple threats like climate change and disease outbreaks to chronic illnesses. Experts at the 2025 Gatefield Health Summit say the time to act is now by building resilience and securing the continent's health future. TVC News' Kemi Balogun reports.
Ebola.
From deadly outbreaks like Ebola and COVID-19 to the silent epidemic of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension and diabetes, Africa's health systems are struggling to cope.
In our continent, where we have
Experts say resilient health systems from the backbone of healthy societies are capable of absorbing, adapting and recovering from health emergencies while maintaining essential care. But data reveals the gaps are still wide, with over 10 million people pushed into poverty every year by healthcare costs.
Our health systems need resilience. We need to fix the primary healthcare system, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa alone. We need to build pandemic preparedness because Lassa fever is on the rise. We also need to ensure that our medicines need resilience. We have a lot of people that are suffering from antimicrobial resistance.
A lot of different lifestyle factors now are making everybody will be wondering, why are the statistics going up? Why is it increasing? You hardly talk to someone and they don't know someone that has cancer, unlike before. That is something that is a little alien.
Stakeholders here at this summit are now seeking stronger collaboration among African nations to build sustainable systems that protect every citizen by investing in health workforce, infrastructure, scaling up innovation for service delivery, and strengthening community preparedness.
Average spend per year on a Nigerian is $5 per year. That's for each of us here, the government spending $5 each. When you take that to Europe, it is about $4,500 per person. When you move that to Switzerland, it's about $12,000 per person that has been spent on healthcare. And even Kenya, that is like, another African country that's comparatively 66, that means even Kenya spends 10 times more than the Nigerian government spends on healthcare per person, even though it's very low.
One of the things we'll be doing today is thinking about how do we reshape, food systems so that it works better for everyone and not just a few, and how do we also look at our environment and how it influences how people come down with non-communicable diseases.
With Africa's population projected to exceed 1.5 billion by 2030, experts warn that without immediate action, health shocks will continue to reverse development gains. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
And that's our package on the midday news from Abuja. Join Lagos at the top of the hour for a full bulletin. Thank you for watching and bye for now.
Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
All across the Federation, The Federal Housing Authority is leaving its mark, making affordable housing a reality for Nigerians.
We have about 10 projects to be commissioned. So the ones we are building now, people will also be paying in, and keys are already been handing over.
With a dynamic team led by Honorable Oyetunde Ojo and powered by digitized operations, the FHA is setting the pace in delivering quality homes for every Nigerian in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda.
FHA has been the leading housing agency. We want Nigerians to have that confidence that you can patronize FHA, so Nigerians can trust this government, Nigerians can trust FHA, and Nigerians can trust Mr. President.
Staying informed on the latest developments, watch FHA Weekly on TVC News every Thursday at 8:30 p.m.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Are you ready to explore the future of cybersecurity? If so, you are in the right place. Welcome to the show where we uncover the groundbreaking advancements shaping our digital landscape. I am Dakbo Aruajo, and you're welcome to Techni Fire. Did you know your digital defenses are weakening? In 2023, cyber criminals executed 2.9 billion attacks globally, a new record. In 2024, scammers stole over 1.3 trillion from victims. Every 39 seconds, someone falls prey to a social engineering attack, with businesses facing 700 attacks annually. By 2025, cybercrime is projected to cost $10.5 trillion, more than the combined GDP of Japan, Germany, and the UK. Data breaches, ransomware, and identity theft are accelerating. Your digital life is under siege. The question isn't if you will be targeted, but when. Are you ready to defend yourself? Let's find out. Today, we're diving deep into the critical world of cybersecurity, a domain so vital. An entire month, October, is dedicated for its awareness. But first, let's catch up on the latest developments in the tech arena. It's time for Tech News on Fire.
Samsung Electronics and OpenAI are collaborating on floating data centers that use cold seawater for cooling, potentially cutting energy consumption by up to 70%. This initiative addresses the growing energy demands of AI technologies. An Oxford study has found that while AI tools help UK teens to learn faster, they may hinder critical thinking skills. Many students feel AI makes learning too easy, prompting calls for a balanced approach in education. Saudi Arabia has launched an AI hub in Pakistan to promote knowledge sharing and connect Pakistani freelancers with Saudi businesses. This initiative aims to attract investment in digital infrastructure and enhance cooperation between the two nations. Tom Lee of BitMEX has predicted that Ethereum may surpass Bitcoin, similar to US equities overtaking gold after the gold standard ended in 1971. Currently, Bitcoin's market cap is $2.17 trillion, while that of Ethereum is $476.33 billion. Lee believes that Ethereum's role in smart contracts positions it for significant growth. Apple has planned to launch a touchscreen MacBook Pro, reversing its previous stance. Expected in late 2026 or early 2027, the new models will be thinner and feature M6 chips, marking a major change in Apple's lineup.
After the break, we will explore essential cybersecurity concepts. Stay tuned. Cybersecurity. It's about protecting our digital lives from threats. Let's go to class to know the basics of staying safe online in Stay Safe Online Cybersecurity 101.
If you don't like getting hacked but still love being online, then stick around because this video is for you. Cybersecurity might sound like a high-tech buzzword, but it's simply about keeping your online world safe. With more of our lives moving online, understanding cybersecurity is more important than ever. First things first, cybersecurity is all about protecting your devices, networks, and data from bad guys like hackers and cyber criminals. Think of it as a digital shield that keeps your personal information safe. So why does cybersecurity matter to you? Imagine your social media, bank accounts, and private emails getting hacked. Scary, right? That's why you need to be proactive. Let's talk tips. Number 1, use strong, unique passwords for each account. No more password 1 and 23. Instead, try a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. Number 2, enable two-factor authentication. It's like adding an extra lock to your door. Number 3, keep your software updated. Those updates fix security holes that hackers love to exploit. And finally, be cautious of suspicious emails and links. If it looks fishy, it probably is. With these simple steps, you're well on your way to becoming a digital safety superhero.
Today's gadget review features Kali Linux, a key cybersecurity tool.
Everybody's looking for the ultimate cybersecurity tool. Well, look no further than Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the Swiss Army knife of cybersecurity. With over 600 pre-installed penetration testing tools, this distribution is packing serious firepower. Metasploit, Nmap, Wireshark, Burp Suite, you name it, it's got it. But don't let the powerhouse tools intimidate you. Kali Linux sports a user-friendly interface that makes navigation a breeze, whether you're a greenhorn or a seasoned pro. Plus, it's regularly updated to keep you on the cutting edge with the latest tools and security patches. Customization? Check. You can tailor Kali Linux to your specific needs, whether you're running it on a USB stick, a dedicated machine, or even a cloud environment. And let's not forget the strong community support, forums, documentation, tutorials. They've got your back. Kali Linux isn't just for the pros. It's also a fantastic learning resource. With training materials like the Kali Linux Revealed book and online courses, you can sharpen your skills and dive deep into the world of ethical hacking. However, remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Kali Linux is designed for ethical hacking, so always use it legally and responsibly. Bottom line, if you're serious about cybersecurity, Kali Linux is a must-have in your toolkit. Stay secure, stay sharp, and happy hacking.
Kali Linux is undeniable a powerful asset in cybersecurity. Now, let's examine innovations, applications, and future trends in digital security. Let's unlock this digital fortress.
Let's take an extensive look into the multifaceted domain of cybersecurity. This digital fortress we rely on is evolving fast, and it's crucial to understand both its strengths and weaknesses. First up, encryption technology. Imagine your data as a locked treasure chest. Encryption is a complex key that only the right person can use to open it. Innovations like quantum encryption are setting new standards, making it nearly impossible for hackers to crack the code. Next, we have AI and machine learning. These tech marvels are like digital bloodhounds, sniffing out suspicious activities faster than any human could. AI-driven cybersecurity tools can predict and neutralize threats in real time, cutting down the response time drastically. But let's not ignore the dark side. The same AI can be weaponized by cybercriminals to create more sophisticated attacks. So it's a constant cat and mouse game where we're always striving to stay one step ahead. Now let's talk about blockchain. Beyond cryptocurrencies, blockchain offers a transparent and tamper-proof way to secure data. Think of it as an unchangeable ledger where every transaction is recorded and verified by multiple nodes. No single point of failure here, making it extremely hard to hack. However, no system is flawless. Human error and zero-day vulnerabilities still pose significant risks. That's where ethical hacking comes in. These experts probe systems for weaknesses before the bad guys can exploit them. So what's the future? Expect more integration of AI, better encryption methods, and wider adoption of blockchain. But remember, as technology advances, so do the tactics of cybercriminals. Stay savvy, stay secure.
After the break, we'll have a deep discussion on cybersecurity. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. To understand why cybersecurity deserves a dedicated month, we have Oluwadamilola Gbadamosi, a network and cloud security professional and a cybersecurity expert. He mentors at 2 Nigerian tech institutes and runs Secure Space Network, training on cybersecurity. He was also part of the organizers of the Tech Beyond Borders conference, which recently held in Lagos. We're glad to have Oluwadamilola Gbadamosi here. With his experience in cyber threats, he will help us understand cybersecurity essentials. Good to have you, my dear brother.
Thank you so much, Olumofi. It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So let's get a bit about you. We're here to discuss cybersecurity. Can we have your background in cybersecurity?
Yes, actually. So my background, I didn't just start from being a cybersecurity analyst, right? I started off from university, where I studied computer science. From there, I've worked as a front-end developer for, I think, 4 or 5 years, and also as a technical support analyst also for some organization. And from there, I dived into cybersecurity because there are quite a lot of things I've seen, when it comes to the tech world, when it comes to protecting and educating people on, the cyber threats that we have. Right? So it's something that I find interesting. So that's how I find myself in cybersecurity, actually.
Amazing. Yeah. October every year is dedicated for the awareness of cybersecurity.
Yes.
How important is cybersecurity?
There's something I say, except World War III happened. And if World War III happened, that is one of the first things that will be targeted is the internet, right? I mean, there may not be internet again. Then there will not be need for cybersecurity. But if that don't happen, right, cybersecurity is something that is actually very, very needed. Now, it is not just all about the tech guys or the tech bros and taxis alone. Even I've had situations where I've had to, go to organizations to train lawyers, right, accountants to be more cyber aware, right. One of the that was like 2 months ago, I was opportunity to go to an organization where I actually had to, we're telling them about phishing, right? How they need to protect themselves from phishing scams and attack, right? And most of them were really not seeing it as a big deal until I demonstrated something for them. So I sent them a link. It was in a secured environment though. I created a link, sent them the link. Most of them clicked on the link, and for those that clicked on the link, I had access to their cameras. Even some of them that clicked no on the link, I still had access to their camera.
All you need is the link.
All I just need is the link. As long as they click no, there is an embedded link under the no that is still yes.
So you are telling me you shouldn't just click?
You just click the link. Even you notice that most social media handles right now, especially WhatsApp and the likes, right, have tools, like they have some tools in their applications right now where you can just switch off links. So because sometimes when you want to, even as a cybersecurity analyst, when I want to test some links to check if they're malicious and stuff like that, and I'm testing it even in a secure environment, most times I deactivate my link clicking. So even when I make mistake to touch the link, it won't click, right? All I just need is just the link, and you have access to them. And when they saw that, a lot of them now believe that, oh my God, okay, these things are really happening.
So
right.
all these, when you read, so links can come in different ways.
Those are malicious links, and a lot of those links are always embedded with a lot of script, right? And thank God for a programming language like Python, right? Make it much more easier for programmers to be able to write a lot of malicious links, and good links also, like good scripts also that you could use for links and stuff like that. Although one of the reasons why that October is always important is really to educate people and let them know that when we say phishing is possible, when we say social engineering attacks are possible, when we say you need to protect your digital information, you need to protect your digital footprint, right? You need to protect your PII, those are your personal identifiable information, right? So they have to take it serious, because sometimes you might not be at the target for those threat actors. Your neighbor might be the target, while you might just be the channel.
You just mentioned only the phishing, and for viewers, is the phishing the PH?
No, yeah, the PHISING.
How vulnerable are we? And can you give me some other ideas of how vulnerable we could be apart from the phishing?
Okay, and something is happening. One of the very thing that is happening recently is in the story about Microsoft ending the support for Windows 10, right? And I know that a lot of people will still want to be using Windows 10. Now they don't know that they are in trouble, right?
With Windows 10?
Yeah, with Windows 10. If Microsoft stopped the update on Windows 10, meaning no more security updates, right? Every vulnerability that cyber actors are able and threat actors are able to see, they try everything possible to make sure that they get. There are also so many other cyber threats that we face, but there was something I posted on my LinkedIn some time ago, where I say, phishing is not a magic trick, right? It is just a play on human gullibility, right? Nobody can just have access to your device like that without you giving access to them, right? Can I ask you a question right now? Now,
yes.
Okay, if you are with a pen right now and a book, and I ask you something, let's say, imagine the amount you want in your bank account right now is equivalent to your BVN number. How much would that be?
That's a lot.
A lot, right? Now, if you had a pen, you would have written it right down, right? What do you think you'll have written down to me? Your BVN number, yeah.
So I'm exposed.
You're exposed already like that, because what I just try to play on is the gullibility of humans, right? The wanting more.
So we have tendency of being greedy.
Yeah.
Wanting more.
And that is what those threat actors really.
Okay. Well, as we're rounding up now, Lord Damilola, can you give a word for the people?
I think what I would just say is study more. Cybersecurity is not just for accountants, like I said, it's not for lawyers, it's not just for IT guys, it's for everybody, right? Even though you're not in the field of IT, it is always important that you educate yourself, you find a place where you can mingle, you talk to people about, learn more about cybersecurity, because this is actually going to be useful for you. And this is the age of Internet of Things. Those are the IoT devices. We have our smart TV, smart refrigerators, and a lot of those IoT devices, their firmwares are really up to date. Does not really have a lot of security features with them. And there is a movie I was watching, and how they were able to get into the woman's mobile device was through a thermostat.
Thermostat, yes. The thermostat you use in the house.
The thermostat you use in the house.
We got to go, because if you want to talk about cybersecurity, we need like 2 hours.
Yes,
you must agree. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for joining us. I'll call you more to discuss about this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olumofi.
That's all we have on cybersecurity with Oluwadamilola Badamosi. Welcome back. Up next, Tech Trivia and Tech Wise. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Did you know? Over 90% of cyber attacks start with a phishing email. The average cost of a data breach is estimated at $4.35 million in 2023. Ransomware attacks increased by 150% in 2022, affecting businesses of all sizes. The United States is the most targeted country for cyber attacks, accounting for 43% of global attacks. Cybersecurity jobs are expected to grow by 31% from 2019 to 2029, significantly outpacing other job sectors. Approximately 60% of small businesses shut down within 6 months of a cyber attack. Multi-factor authentication can block up to 99.9% of automated cyber attacks. There are over 100 million malware programs in circulation today. 70% of employees admit to reusing passwords across multiple sites, increasing vulnerabilities. The global cybersecurity market is projected to reach $345.4 billion by 2026.
Do you know that your online activities could send you straight to jail? Jail, yes, jail. Under Nigerian surveillance, your devices and social media accounts could be your one-way ticket to prison right now. The 2024 Nigeria Cybercrimes Act is actively hunting violators every day. Courts are convicting people as we speak. Deportations are in progress. Your freedom hangs by the thread of one single post. Real cases are mounting. Recently, lots of hackers received sentences. 1 million naira fine each and 1 year behind bars. Devices seized, deportation orders issued, lives completely shattered. One screenshot, one shared message, one moment of anger online. That's all it takes. Authorities are monitoring everything. Penalties are devastating. Fines go as high as 10 million naira. Imprisonment extends to 10 years. For the uninformed, these offenses will destroy everything you have. Unauthorized access, touching someone's devices without consent, 5 years in prison. Data tampering, modifying, removing, and encrypting files, 5 years incarceration. Leaking sensitive information, you can be locked up for up to 15 years. Recording without consent, jail time. Spreading false information, especially those that share fake news threatening social order, 3 years behind bars. Cyberbullying and harassment, that is insulting, threatening, and harassing online, criminal prosecution. Inciting hatred, provoking ethnic and religious conflict, that is life imprisonment with no chance of release. For the group administrators, beware. You bear legal responsibility for every post in your group. Failure to moderate, you face imprisonment. Companies risk fines of 10 million naira or 2% of annual revenue. Your digital footprint never disappears. Your mistakes cannot be undone. Think, verify, stop before posting, or lose absolutely everything. Be smart, be wise, tech wise. It's time for your feedback. Here's your response to the last question. And here's today's question. What are your thoughts on the current state of cybersecurity? Do you feel secure online? Your insights fuel our fire. Share your thoughts. That wraps up our exploration of cybersecurity, from data protection to understanding threats. We've covered it all. I hope these insights highlight the potential and challenges in cybersecurity. If you have an innovation to share or inquiries, reach us at www.technifier.net or Dakbo Aruajoy at technifier.net. You can reach us via WhatsApp also, 08163595054. Until next time, keep innovating. I am Dakbo Aruajoy, the Technifier, signing off on the Technifier.
This week, Nigeria's political space is abuzz, from heated debates on the floor of the National Assembly to high-profile meetings behind closed doors and high-stakes decisions with unexpected twists that impact us all. It's been a week full of headlines and heated moments. Join us on Politics on Sunday, where we cut through the noise and dive deep into the issues that matter most, helping you make a sense of it all. From the corridors of power to the streets where it all plays out, we've got you covered, because politics doesn't stop, and neither do we. Stay informed, stay engaged, and be part of the conversation. Politics on Sunday, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on TVC News.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
On the news, this lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, all senior advocates on the defense withdraw from representing the IPOB leader, as Kanu tells the court he will be representing himself. Northern leaders of the People's Democratic Party adopt a consensus candidate to represent the region for the position of national chairman at the party's national convention. In a foreign scene, King Charles has become the first head of the Church of England to pray publicly with the Pope. On news from the States, we take you to Jigawa State, where the government has enrolled about 2,000 out-of-school children into modern Sangaya schools across the state. Hello and thanks for joining us. This is TVC News on One. I am Precious Amayo. We begin with judicial matters where the lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Kanu Agabi, alongside other senior advocates in his legal team, have withdrawn their legal representation, as the IPOB leader says he would now be representing himself as his own lawyer. We have details in this report.
At Thursday's proceedings, Kanu Agabi SEN, who had led Kanu's legal team, announced his withdrawal from the case along with other senior advocates in the team. Mr. Agabi explained that their withdrawal was because the defendant has taken them off the case and they respect the decision. He named other senior advocates withdrawing from the case to include Onyechi Piazzo SEN, Joseph Akobo SEN, Paul Erokoro SEN, Emeka Etiaba SEN, and one other. Following Mr. Agabi's announcement, Justice James Omotosho turned to Mr. Kanu, who was in the dark, for his response. He confirmed sacking all his lawyers and told the court that he was willing and ready to conduct his own defense. Justice Omotosho then ordered other members of the defendant's legal team present in court, except the SAN, to vacate the courtroom immediately. The judge thereafter asked the defendant to open his case. Mr. Kanu began by challenging the jurisdiction of the court to continue his trial, but he was overruled by the judge, who insisted he must proceed with his defense. At this point, Mr. Piazzu drew the court's attention to the fact that the withdrawal took effect that morning and urged the court to allow Mr. Kanu a few moments to gather his thoughts and prepare. The prosecution did not object, prompting Justice Omotosho to adjourn the case till Friday, October 24, for Kanu to open his defense.
A number of us in defending Nnamdi has decided to conduct his defense by himself. He has a right to do so. We respect that decision and we wish him well going forward. That's all.
Mr. Kanu had earlier submitted a list of witnesses he intends to call in his defense, including the Minister of the FCT, former Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, and Governor of Imo State, among others.
Now, for more on this development, lawyer Libros Oshoma joins me via Zoom from Ghana. Good to have you join us, Libros.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So we've seen a lot of twists and turns in this particular case, but this one, many would say it was quite shocking. What kind of impact will this have on this case?
To tell you the truth, to be frank with you, if I tell you I was expecting anything different, then I'll certainly, be deceiving myself. I've followed this case for quite some time now, and the moment those junior lawyers went to protest, especially, that Free Nnamdi Kanu's protest, considering the fact that a date had been assigned, which is today, for them to open their defense, I knew that certainly the senior lawyers in the matter will condemn that action. And then that will also result to, altercation, and then probably maybe him sacking his lawyers, because we've seen Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We saw some senior advocate came into this matter before, people like Ozekome, who are no longer in the matter also, who for one reason or the other also left unceremoniously like this. And we've also seen him tell a lawyer in court that you shut up, you don't talk when I'm talking. So it is against that background that I feel that certainly the moment that Monday event happened, that I knew that all of this would play out. And so I'm not surprised that Nnamdi Kanu has sacked his lawyer. And then he opted to defend himself. Also, I think this is not the first time he's attempted to do that. But I know he has a right, legally speaking, to defend himself. But there are a lot of legal challenges and bottlenecks that he would be confronted with, just like the one that played out today, where he was trying to take the hand of the clock back, going back to challenge jurisdiction when the matter of issues of jurisdiction has been decided long ago, and it was for him to open his defense.
And one other issue that's gotten Nigerians reacting is the list of witnesses. He has listed former governors, sitting governors who have constitutional immunity. There's also the former Attorney General of the Federation. We have the former Director General of NIA, and the DSS. And one is wondering again the implication that this will have on his case. I mean, does this serve him well?
First and foremost, the court is allowed to subpoena, or compel any witness to attend court in a matter. In some cases, to either tender document or to give evidence in support of the defense case. But in this case, I'm not aware that the subpoena is for them to tender any documents, because it's the subpoena, from what I've gathered, is not in respect of tendering of documents. Then we also have governors who are sitting governors who also enjoy the immunity. The question will not be, can the court compel them to come attend the court and give evidence in a matter? I doubt how that will play out. And then those for the former attorney generals and then maybe national security, So considering the fact that also somebody can elect, a witness can elect not to say anything in court, even when compared, one would have expected that it is for them to contend that document. But like I said, there are no documents yet to be tendered. So I wonder the kind of evidence that they are coming to give. And in this case also, permit me to say this, I doubt if really Kanu is ready to open a defense in the matter. So the judge, if care is not taken, the judge might just go ahead, to foreclose his defense and go ahead to deliver judgment.
Mr. Shoma, the idea that people have, I know you're talking about the judge might just go ahead to foreclose his defense, but some people think that this may force the federal government to drop the case if his defense drags on. I hear you laughing, but do you share that thought?
No, look, let me tell you the way it works. If the prosecution drags on, you've heard of this word, lack of diligent prosecution, of diligent prosecution. A matter can be struck out for lack of diligent prosecution. But in this case, what we have is not a case of lack of diligent prosecution. All we have is not a case of the lack of diligent prosecution. So the prosecution has closed their case. It is for you to open your defense. And the defense cannot be open-ended. Defense cannot be open-ended. Certainly, there's a time for you to, like I said, the defense cannot be open-ended. There's a time for you to open your defense. And thereafter, the argument to be taken, written addresses in most cases. So I wonder how he's going to file all of these written addresses and how he's going to, address the court on points of law. And so sometimes he certainly will need a lawyer again. And
All right. Thank you so much, lawyer Libras Oshoma, for that analysis. We do apologize. We lost contact with him. All right. Let's turn attention now to other stories. Activist and publisher Mr. Omoyele Sowore has been arrested within the premises of the Federal High Court in Abuja by armed policemen shortly after he appeared in solidarity with the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Sowore, who has been at the forefront of calls for Kanu's release from detention, was picked up by security operatives who insisted that he must come with them to the Federal Capital Territory Police Command. When asked what his offense was, one of the officers explained that they were acting on the instruction of the Commissioner of Police. Although Sowore queried the absence of a formal letter of invitation, he maintained that his lawyer must accompany him before he was eventually taken away in a police van. Confirming Showore's arrest in a post via his ex-handle, human rights lawyer Nibeye Efyong described the move as preposterous. The PRO of the police force, Benjamin Hundeyi, has confirmed the arrest of Omoyele Sowore, bringing to 14 the number of persons arrested for violating a court order barring the protest. Now to other stories. The northern stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party have adopted a consensus candidate to represent the North for the position of national chairman at the party's convention, which is to hold on the 15th of November in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The stakeholders announced the nomination of Kabiru Turaki, a senior advocate of Nigeria from Kebbi State. He will be presented at the convention to lead the party. This decision was disclosed by the governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, after a closed-door meeting held on Wednesday night in Abuja. He, however, clarified that the decision does not preclude other aspirants from contesting, noting that the party's constitution guarantees every member the right to test their popularity at the convention. Governor Fintiri assured that the PDP National Convention will be rancor-free, adding that nominations for other positions zoned to the North will be decided at the zonal level.
As the northern leaders and representatives of each of the states in the North, we have deliberated and take decision on the office of the chairman of our great party, the PDP, which was zoned to the North. And in our meeting, we have reflected deeply and widely through consultation and going to Ibadan for our national convention. We have adopted a consensus candidate to represent the North and by extension Nigeria as the chairman of the PDP. And that gentleman is KT Turaki, SAN. This is our decision, and he is the person we are presenting at that convention as our chairman to represent our party on the 15th and 16th of August in November in Ibadan.
And to security matters, in what security analysts describe as one of the fiercest coordinated assaults in recent months, troops of Operation Hadinkai have repelled multiple terrorist attacks across Borno and Yobe states. The attacks, which began in the night, were met with superior firepower on land and from the skies, dealing terrorists a heavy and decisive blow. Senior reporter Jesse Tafida has details.
Between midnight and 4 a.m. on Thursday, terrorists launched a series of coordinated attacks on troops positions in Dekwa, Mafa, Gachibo, and Katarko, communities spread across Borno and Yobe states. But the renewed spirit of the troops, backed by air support from the Nigerian Air Force component, ensured that the insurgents were overpowered and more than 50 terrorists neutralized in the process. Recovered from the battlefield were 38 AK-47 rifles, 7 PKT machine guns, 5 rocket-propelled grenade tubes, 2 general-purpose machine guns, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Field intelligence revealed that the attackers who struck in Dekwa and Gajibo infiltrated from the Cameroon axis, while those who hit Katarko emerged from the notorious Timbuktu Triangle, a long-time terrorist enclave. Some gallant soldiers sustained injuries during the various encounters, while terrorists also deployed drones and RPGs, setting parts of a defense ablaze in Mafa and Dekwa. Despite the temporary breach, troops rallied back, forcing the insurgents to retreat. Military authorities say over 70 wounded fighters are still being pursued by ground forces in close coordination with the air component. The defense headquarters has held the courage, doggedness, and professionalism of the troops, stressing that the latest victory is proof of the military's renewed charge and resolve to secure the northeast. With more boosts on the ground and critical combat enablers deployed into the theater, the military says it remains resolute to defend Nigeria's territorial integrity. For many in the northeast, the latest feat is a reminder that despite the odds, the fight against insurgency is far from lost. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
And still ahead on TVC News at 1, Lagos State Traffic Management Agency to begin a 24-hour operation to help reduce road traffic crashes in the state. We have details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Thanks for staying with us on the news at 1. A reminder of our top stories. Lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, all senior advocates on the defense team withdraw from representing the IPOB leader, as Kanu tells the court he will be representing himself. Northern leaders of the People's Democratic Party adopt a consensus candidate to represent region for the position of national chairman at the party's national convention. Now to Nigeria, King Charles has become the first head of state, head of the Church of England to pray publicly with the Pope. The news from states will take you to Jigawa State, where the government has enrolled about 2,000 out-of-school children into modern Sangaya schools across the state. We're staying with security matters. Two persons have been confirmed dead following a suspected bandit attack in Giel community of Jos South local government area. The State Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Adishino, says normalcy has been restored and investigations are ongoing. He noted that kidnapping cases have dropped in recent weeks as several suspected criminals have been arrested during operations across the state. CP Adishino mentioned that the newly recruited police constables have also been deployed to the 17 local government areas to boost security presence.
What happened last night, there was an incident that we recorded in that community. But the security agencies, we responded swiftly. And unfortunately, we recorded two deaths. But the good news is that we are on the trail of we are able to repel the attack. The attackers were successfully repelled. But we are still working behind the scene to see how we are going to arrest and prevent future occurrence.
And now to Kogi State, where Governor Usman Ododo says collaboration between government and local communities remains critical to achieving sustainable development across the state. He said this while receiving a delegation from Ayetoro, Gbede in Ijumu local government area of the state, where he pledged to deepen efforts towards promoting peace and development in that area. The community leaders commended the governor for his proactive measures in tackling insecurity and for ongoing developmental projects across the state.
I'm going to instruct Commissioner for Works and Commissioner for Health to come for the assessment by the special. We are not doing anybody good. Rather, you are helping us because your duty is to remind us that you need to touch this place. You have not done that. That is the only legacy all of us, your children, will leave for our children.
The community is facing challenges. The king, after his coronation, has gone around the community. He has assessed some things, infrastructure and other activities that happen in the community, and that's the report he has come also to present to the governor.
We requested that they should deploy a medical doctors because we only have one medical doctor residents in my community, so we need more hands to assist him.
And here in Lagos, the state government has announced that the state's traffic management agency, LASTMA, will begin a 24-hour operation to help reduce road traffic crashes in the state. This was announced at LASTMA Ember Month Stakeholders Forum, held at the agency's headquarters. TVC News senior reporter Theophilus Ilama reports.
The theme, Safe Roads, Safe Lives, LASTMA Cares, embodies the human-centered approach of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration towards ensuring road safety, traffic orderliness, and public welfare before, during, and after the high-risk Ember Month. This is a period characterized by increased mobility, heightened commercial activities, and intensified vehicular pressure on the Lagos road network. Here, the special advisor to the Governor on Transport, Sholagiwa, in his keynote speech, described the event not merely as another annual ritual, but as a solemn reaffirmation of the government's steadfast resolve to safeguard the lives and livelihoods of Lagosians through disciplined traffic management.
With over 4,000 personnel strategically deployed across the state, LASTMA operates as a silent economic engine that keeps this megacity functional. Empirical data shows that managing congestion and preventing gridlock, a single LASTMA officer helped to save an average of 85 million naira in man-hour loss annually. When multiplied by our total GDP, This translates to 430 billion in economic value every year.
For 2025 Ember months, we have deployed over 2,500 officers to high-risk corridors. Our operational vehicles and recovery vehicles have been equally deployed, strengthening communication system for real-time conditions. Additionally, the agency has intensified its road safety public enlightenment,
urging motorists to exercise discipline, patience, and empathy. The special advisor emphasized that road safety is a shared civic duty. He said for the 2025 Ember Month, LASMA would adopt other multi-layered operational plans to ensure safe mobility across all 5 divisions across Lagos.
LASMA is working closely with our sister agencies, as you can see all the organs here, the police traffic division, the military, the navy, and every other person that is involved to maintain synchronized operations across the transport ecosystem.
Let us always remember, speed thrills but kills, better late than never. One careless act can cause a lifetime of regrets.
The special advisor therefore urged traffic officers to remain proactive and compassionate while enforcing road laws. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
As Nigeria's media ecosystem continues to evolve, TVC Communications has reaffirmed its commitment to driving innovation anchored on trust and transparency. Speaking at the Africast 2025 conference organized by the National Broadcasting Commission, the Group Managing Director and CEO of TVC Communications, Victoria Ajayi, emphasized the importance of leveraging artificial intelligence for the public good. Zaid Aribisala reports.
In May 2025, TVC Communications launched Nigeria's first AI news anchor, marking a milestone in the nation's broadcasting history.
Hi Olamide Human, is it time to come out yet?
At Africast 2025 conference, hosted by the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, media and tech leaders gathered to discuss the future of broadcasting in the AI era. CEO TVC Communications Victoria Ajayi joined a panel on AI governance and ethical deployment, where experts emphasized the need for accountability, human oversight, and data privacy in AI adoption.
We decided we will do this for the purpose of inclusion. Let's reach more people. Let's get our bulletins out to more people, and that's why we embarked on the 5 languages: Pidgin, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and even in English.
I think that Africa can actually benefit the most from AI, because AI has the ability to bring the content, bring the information to them using those means that they have.
The importance of developing algorithm and ensuring safe deployment of AI was also emphasized.
There should be a call for explainable AI for any AI vendor developing AI systems.
Every algorithm must take into account our environment. Even in Europe, they started, and the women started saying, no, we cannot accept this. This algorithm is thinking like men. We are women. That's not how we think.
We need to ensure whatever AI we're deploying, ethical responsibility is critical. And we must ensure that whatever data is being put through AI, we have to check, is it truthful? Is it transparent? And also, is it inclusive? For me, those 3 key anchors are important.
The NBC Director General commended TVC for its ethical and innovative use of AI.
We engaged TVC, and they visited us in the office. They made a presentation where they shared with us all the checks they had put in place, and it was very, very impressive, I must tell you. And you know, it's on record till today. There have been no issues. So we're willing as regulators to support innovation, but we'll keep watching so that, you know, innovation doesn't bring a culture change that is alien to us and then, you know, corrupts society or brings misinformation to mindset. But with the introduction of AI in news telling, TVC has got it right.
As Africa's media landscape evolves, embracing emerging technologies will be vital for a sustainable and inclusive future. Sahira Ribisala, TVC News, Lagos.
And also in Lagos State, the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, Femi Gbajabiamila, has officially handed over 2 newly completed multi-story school buildings for junior and senior secondary students to the Lagos State government. The commission marks a major milestone in bridging the long-standing gap in access to public secondary education within the Itire-Ikate Local Council Development Area of Surulere. And there is more in this report.
Since its creation in 2003, Itire-Ikate Local Council Development Area has been without a public secondary school, leaving residents with the option of either enrolling in private schools or traveling miles to acquire junior and senior secondary education. That reality began to change in October 2021 when Femi Gbadabiamila, then Speaker of the House of Representatives, laid the foundation for a modern educational facility to serve the area. 4 years later, that vision has become a tangible symbol of progress.
Being in the House of Representatives and being able to bring something to your constituency is not your primary assignment. But being able to do that is a big thing. It's something worthy to celebrate.
Education is the bedrock of any society, and this is the first level of providing a conducive learning environment. And by all standards, this is like an international standard for us.
We are taking ownership in Lagos State, and don't forget, every month the Lagos State pay each principal of schools 250,000 as maintenance fee in Lagos State.
Testament of Right Honorable Femi Gbadabiamila, unwavering commitment to the development of our community and the education of our youth. It is a shining example of his legacy and dedication to the public service.
Community members expressed joy and appreciation over the project, noting that the presence of the new school will not only raise the standard of education, but also stimulate small-scale trade and daily economic activity in the area.
Then they were videoing it, so like, what's this? Everyone was like, okay, how will this school be and all that? So I was surprised how the thing really looked so cute and good, so I love it.
It's built in a modern way, and there's a library. I've never seen principal office having a toilet in the class, in the staff room. It's good.
The new twin structures are fully equipped with classroom furniture, a computer laboratory and modern learning aids, creating a conducive environment for both junior and senior secondary students. Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has directed the Lagos Ministry of Education to commence the deployment of teaching and non-teaching staff to the school in preparation for full academic activities as operational control of the institution is transferred to the Lagos State government.
Now, civil society organizations have raised fresh concerns over the growing trend of industrial animal farming in Nigeria. They're calling for stronger advocacy, clear policies, and tighter government regulation to promote sustainable farming systems. Esther Mokbariola reports.
Recently, Nigeria signed a $2.5 billion investment deal with Brazilian agribusiness giant JBS, aimed at strengthening sustainable supply chains and boosting agricultural production. According to the presidency, the partnership will enhance local food production, create jobs for young Nigerians, and promote long-term sustainability in the agricultural sector. But civil society groups are urging both government and communities ensure due diligence is carried out to guard against unforeseen consequences of industrial farming.
The government have been talking about trying to protect people, trying to help ensure that people have clean water. But if you have a plant, if you have an industry in a community and they're carrying out business and you do not check, what would that business do to the soil? The soil is what we eat, the soil is what we plant, and also the runoff from the company. How would that affect or impact the community? And when you're saying do your due diligence, we are the people of Nigeria. You should be concerned more about the people, not about profits.
They stressed the need for government to take a more critical look at industrial farming investments, especially those with long-term implications for the environment, sustainability, and the livelihoods of local farmers and communities.
Research has shown that JBS globally releases greenhouse gases that are much more than the entire transportation system in the USA, right? So we want our government to also look at how this sort of, this industrial system of farming in general also impacts the climate, which then comes around to impact on our agricultural system and even on human health.
Towards making a cleaner, more efficient agricultural sector, we need those compliance to come up. Let there be oversight, by civil society organizations. EDA would, gladly give it.
They say adopting a people-centered and environmentally conscious approach to agriculture remains key to ensuring true sustainability. Esther Mokwariola, TVC News.
The federal government has concluded plans to invest $220 million in creating employment opportunities for young Nigerians. The initiative is spearheaded in collaboration with the European Union and the United Nations Development Programme. That's through the second phase of the Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program, the NJFP, aimed at connecting high-potential graduates with training and mentorship. Vice President Kashim Shettima disclosed this while formally flagging off the NJFP at the Presidential Villa Abuja. The Vice President noted that the NJFP is a Nigerian program shaped by national priorities and guided by the nation's sense of purpose. The VP implored the EU, the UNDP, and other partners to consider the flag-off of the program as an opportunity to prove that youth employment is not just a policy priority, but a shared responsibility.
If we get this right, we'll set a new national benchmark for how government programs can be designed, led, and sustained with integrity, accountability, and measurable impact. May this next phase of NJFP become the story of how Nigeria turned its demographic advantage into a generation of productive citizens, creating jobs, building enterprises, and shaping the future of our great nation.
We build on the progress to reach out to 20,000 additional fellows while advancing our long-term goals of reaching 100,000 youth placements in 5 years. This program has been clear evidence of what can be achieved with government, development partners, and also private sector working together with the same purpose.
We are gathered here today not merely to celebrate success and progress, but to chart a bolder course for the future. NJFP 2.0 is the next chapter, a smarter, stronger, and more inclusive model for national workforce development.
This program is truly innovative and transformative, significantly supporting youth and women economic empowerment across the country, but also the SMEs and other organizations benefiting from the enthusiasm and commitment of our young fellows.
Now, outside Nigeria, King Charles has become the first head of the Church of England to pray publicly with the Pope, and that's Pope Leo XIV. The King and Queen Camilla met the new Pope for the first time before sharing a service in the Sistine Chapel. The symbolism of a Pope and King praying together nearly 500 years after the Church of England's split from Rome is striking. The monarch is a supreme governor of the Church of England and has been a long-standing campaigner for building bridges between faith. Pope Leo was only elected 5 months ago after the death of Pope Francis, and he became the first American pontiff. Break now, but when we return, we will bring you news from the States. Ibrahim Shita is standing by. Stay with us.
The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira would be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools, and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks, and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks, and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. State category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States will be judged based on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
Hello and thanks for joining us on News from the State. We will bring you reports on key developments across Nigeria's 36 states. Let's begin in Jigawa State, where the government has enrolled about 2,000 out-of-school children into modern Sangaya schools across the state as part of efforts to integrate Islamic and formal education and reduce the number of children roaming the streets. TVC News' Yusuf Isa has the story.
For many years, thousands of children across northern Nigeria have struggled to gain access to both Islamic and formal education. But in Jigawa State, a new story is unfolding. The government is bringing hope back to streets, giving children a second chance through its modern Sangaya education program. So far, more than 2,000 pupils have been enrolled across the state, combining Quranic studies with formal and vocational training. It's a major step toward ending street begging, creating a future where every child can learn, grow, and dream again.
Already we have enrolled about 500 students now, and we did that through the Almajiri prison system that we established in Jigawa State. And this school comprises of at least 5 local government areas. We have Gumel, Silatankarkar, Megatari, Garki, and the other local government areas.
He added that the new school is fully equipped with skills acquisition center, a hostel, and a recitation hall.
That the school comprises of classrooms, that is 8 classrooms and 8 hostels, skill acquisition center, ICT center, and the other facilities.
Governor Umar Namadi said the facility is designed to blend Quranic learning with modern and vocational studies, giving pupils both moral guidance and practical skills to secure a better future.
So this is an attempt we are doing to reduce the number of out-of-school children, and we felt for us to re-emphasize our stand on this, we need to sponsor programs like this. That is the Sangaya system, which will we intend to use as a means of reducing the out-of-school children in Jigawa State.
With over 2,000 children already enrolled, the Jigawa State government says it remains committed to expanding access to quality education, combining faith knowledge and skills to empower the next generation. Yusuf Isa, TVC News, Jigawa.
Yusuf Isa joins me on the news from the state. Yusuf, this initiative looks like a turning point from what you've seen so far. How transformative is this step in addressing both illiteracy and street begging in northern Nigeria?
Jigawa State government has so far enrolled about 2,000 out-of-school children into modern secondary schools across the state. The aim is to reform the traditional Almajiri system by combining the Quranic education with basic literacy, numeracy, and vocational skill. And it's part of efforts to address the growing number of the out-of-school children who are living by streets in northern Nigeria. So this initiative, like many states, are now recognizing that reforming the Almajiri system is crucial to addressing the poverty, insecurity, economic instability, and illiteracy. So if properly funded and closely monitored, it could help reduce the number of out-of-school children and the number of children who are on the street and nurture a new generation grounded in both faith and modern education.
So what concrete systems is the state government putting in place to ensure these schools don't become another half-funded project or, worse still, relapse into the old Sangaya model?
So the long-term goal is to integrate Sangaya school into the state education policy. And state government have come up with so many initiatives like creating 3 mega Sangaya schools across the state. The first one was created to accommodate or to admit like getting to 3,000 students. And the third one will
Yusuf, are you there? Hello, Yusuf, can you hear me?
Hello, Ibrahim.
Right. So, yeah, carry on. I guess you had not landed on your thought. But then as you carry on, what exactly is the government also doing on matters of insecurity, you know, the issue of banditry, terrorism, etc.? Are they also putting that into perspective as they look to taking back out-of-school children back to schools?
Yeah, that one is also part of the initiative. And the main goal is target at these Almajiri people. If government is trying to enroll them into this modern Sangaya school, to reform them, to integrate them into new format of teaching, and also their teachers, that's the ulamas, will also undergo trainings, reformatory trainings on how to do away with such kind of extremism and still like that.
Right, Yusuf Isa, live for us from Jigawa. Thank you so much for the update. Thank you. Now, let's move on to the other state where Governor Sheriff Oborewori continues to initiate new projects and complete existing ones. The Delta State government has reignited its whistleblower policy to ensure public participation in project monitoring across countries. The executive assistant to the governor on policy enlightenment, Olisa Ifejika, made this call while urging residents to actively support the government's development efforts. There is more in this report.
8 months after the Delta State government launched its whistleblower policy, many residents are yet to take full advantage of it to ensure that projects are properly monitored and shoddy jobs are promptly reported through the designated phone line. However, findings reveal that several residents remain unaware of the initiative.
You know about it? No, I don't know. But let me know what I mean. Okay.
In Asaba, the state capital, most residents who spoke to me commended the policy but admitted that they knew little or nothing about its operation.
The works are being, the works are not being done for now, which I don't know the reasons or the cause. And that contract has been taken for a very long time. But up to now, it has not been completed.
For the executive assistant to the governor on public enlightenment, projects and policies, Mr. Olisa Ifejika, the whistleblower policy is a vital tool that should be utilized by everyone.
That the whistleblowing
phenomenon that government introduced is very necessary. It's key to us in government in the wake of consciousness that projects must be delivered well. All of us who come from communities, and projects are started in some of the communities. So it's not just governor alone or commissioner alone that will ensure that these things are done well. So we're calling on Deltans to please take on this clearance call by the governor himself to not shy away. We're taking it very seriously that this whistleblowing is important to ensure that contractors are on their toes, they work to specifications and deliver.
He further called on residents of the state to take full ownership of projects in their communities and highlighted some of the achievements of the Oborowori-led administration. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Asaba.
Ikenna Amechi joins me on news from the state from Asaba. Ikenna, Governor Sheriff Oborowori's administration seems to be taking transparency to the grassroots by reigniting the whistleblower policy for public project monitoring. But 8 months on, how effective has this initiative really been?
Okay, Ibrahim.
Yeah, carry on. Did you get the question?
I can hear you now.
Right. I was wondering how effective the initiative. I was wondering how effective the initiative has been. You know, the whistleblowing policy taken to the grassroots by the government. How effective has this initiative been so far?
All right, Ibrahim. It has been 8 months since the government actually came up with these policies, and we thought that with such a policy, there will be enough of sensitization of people in the grassroots, because that's where this project will be executed mostly. But 8 months on, we've seen that it is not well filtered to those who are supposed to actually carry out these whistleblowing policy by reporting shoddy job of the contractors handling government projects. We know that the governor has been very big on this particular issue. He has gone out on several times inspecting projects and actually calling out contractors who fail to meet with the quality requirements that was specified by the government when they initiated this project. So it has not actually been trickled down, cascaded, as we say, to the government so that they can monitor effectively this project that are scattered across the 25 local government area of Delta State.
So far, from your observation, how has this system improved project quality or prevented misuse of public funds?
A lot, because first, the governor has been the one championing this cause, because he has gone out several times to inspect some of all these projects. So the contractors are always on their toes to ensure quality is maintained. And of course, when he's the one championing it, definitely contractor had to sit up. Those who are, in the past shortchanging the government will definitely know that the governor is always going at on scheduled visit to some sites. And when he comes, he always calls out contractors. If no matter who you are, no matter who the person that is owns the contract is, he calls the people out to ensure that the qualities are they meet the quality of the project, what is required. So it has effectively given back to the people the quality that they require in project execution, road, housing, and drainage construction. I'm right here at Itabua. There's a construction of storm drainage going on right now, and with what the governor has said, not just only residents, but government officials can just stop by and know what the contractor is actually doing, whether it's actually carrying the work according to specification.
That's right. TVC News, Ikina Mechi, thank you so much for that update. Thank you. Well, that's about it for news from the state. Precious, we can see from Jigawa to Delta State, governments are quite, on top of their games in helping to bring, dividends of democracy to the people. One is re-enrolling the students back to school, and the other is involving the citizens or the citizenry in order to monitor government projects, by blowing the whistle, whether they are doing it right.
First of all, for the education one, it's quite impressive. I think we've taken a lot of education stories on news from the states, and we see what governors are doing. Yeah. We hope that it's sustainable. But the one that again caught my attention was the one of whistleblower for government project, because that's the one we know done by the federal government to report fraud, within the system, and that came with a reward. I hope this comes with a reward as well, because people just don't want to report for nothing. Absolutely. But I think the most important thing when you have situations like that is to ensure that you have secure reporting lines. People want to be sure that they are safe and that there's no retaliation. That's right. After they have reported. And maybe when they are doing the enlightenment, that should be said to people. Because if you want citizens to cooperate, you also have to ensure that they are protected. And if they're not protected, then they are not going to give you any information.
But all the same, anyone who is going to report to the government, that doesn't mean that the government should shirk its own responsibility to the citizens, because some of them may not have the parameters to ascertain whether the projects were well done or not, because most of them are not engineers or probably, project reviewers.
Well, they'll just speak from how they feel. This road was like this before. Exactly, and now it's not like that. But, again, the Ministry of Works, where you have the professionals, should also go around. We understand that this was, an unplanned visit, and so those kind of visits should be made to those kind of sites. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. That was the news from the States. We'll bring you more updates tomorrow at about the same time. And thank you so much for watching the news at 1. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. We also have updates for you on WhatsApp and Telegram at TVC News Nigeria. And on YouTube, we're live at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching. Coming up next is Business Nigeria. And right after that, we'll bring you What Now?
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of spending endless hours in the kitchen? Struggling with bulky appliances? Cooking should be a delight, not a chore. Tired of messy cleanups from kitchen tools that never seem to perform as expected? Do you wish there was a single solution to handle all your blending, chopping, and grinding needs? Introducing the Cook X 4-in-1 Blender, the ultimate kitchen tool to revolutionize your cooking. It's a food processor, mixer, grinder, and blender, all in one. The incredible Cook X 4-in-1 blender comes with 3 versatile cup sizes, each tailored to handle a specific task.
The Cook X 4-in-1 blender is the only blender I use in my kitchen. Its variable speed control lets me achieve the exact texture I need for each dish.
The Cook X 4-in-1 blender is now available exclusively on ShopX TV. Call now and get the Cook X 4-in-1 blender for 115,950 naira. We'll also deliver the Cook X 4-in-1 blender to your door for free. Stock is running out fast, so don't miss this opportunity to upgrade your kitchen at an unbeatable price. Call now while stocks last.
Preceding is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
From Lagos to the world, TVC Communications has been nominated for its very first international award, the prestigious AIB. It's a recognition of our voice, vision, innovation, and relentless drive to push beyond boundaries. TVC Communications, Nigerian excellence on the world stage.
Every clash of ideas begin the same way. Differences could be a disagreement.
2 voices, 2 views, standing apart.
Or an argument.
A battle to win, to prove, or to conquer.
Both are born from differences. One can open the door to respect.
Sound, are you ready?
And the other close it with fire. Two perspectives, but one big issue.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good to go. So do we argue to fight or disagree to understand?
3, 2, 1, we are live.
This is the big...
Power, politics, and accountability on fireworks. No seat is too high, no question too hard. If they hold an office, they are on the hot seat. If they have power, they answer to the people and answer the hard questions.
Only strong men lead, not weak men who don't have knowledge, who don't have capacity, who don't have access.
This is not just talk. This is fireworks.
Corruption started corruption in when you cannot send your animal to where they train police officers.
No filters, no favoritism, no fear, no holds barred, unbiased, unafraid, unfiltered.
Why should people elected into office and are being funded by the treasury of the state, and then their salary and allowances will be treated in secrecy?
Fireworks, only on TVC News.
TVC News, first with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. This is Thursday's edition of Your Business Nigeria. Now, these are the stories we are tracking for you at this time. Federal government reiterates commitments to fostering agri-food transformation through South-South and triangular cooperation. Minister of Blue Economy reaffirms commitment to enhancing sectors' growth through innovation and reforms. Tesla to recall over 63,000 Cybertrucks due to lightning software defect. Well, let's take you to the commodities markets this afternoon and see what that market is looking like. On my chat board here, we'll start with gold as always, silver, copper, and platinum. Now, despite the ups and downs, gold is still doing pretty well above $4,000. That's for an ounce of gold. That's really a good space to put your money at this very time. Gold has been doing pretty well and has been steady in the market. $4,114 for an ounce of gold. Silver, on the other hand, is $48.65, while copper is $508.50. Platinum is $1,660.48, and for silver, it's also in positive, 0.95 in the change. Gold is 15.75 in change, 0.38%. That's percentage points in positive. Silver is 2.03% also in positive, while copper is 1.79% in positive, 8.95 that's in percentage points, looking at the change that has occurred in that market. Now for platinum, it's 29.71 and 1.82% in green. Let's see corn, wheat, cocoa, and cotton. Well, it's mixed for wheat, but sells for $503.75. It's flat. Corn is $424.50. Positive 0.35%, 1.50. Cocoa $6,298. Gradually bouncing back. That's for a metric ton of cocoa, selling at $6,298 per metric ton of that commodity, and it's 6.46% in positive. Cotton is $64.13, 0.39 in percentage points, and it's 0.61 percentage points. 3.382, like I said, cocoa is bouncing back. Let's see when it gets to the 7,000 benchmark very shortly and see what would happen around that market. Global markets are not looking too good. Bloody nose this afternoon. You can see all of them in red. Asian stocks fell for a second day today as lackluster earnings from tech megacaps deepened a sell-off on Wall Street, while the United States sanctions against Russia and possible new export controls on China revived the global geopolitical worries. Now, MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan, that's it here, down 0.4%. Japan's Nikkei sank 1.5%, also in red, and Chinese stocks fell as much as 1.1% after sources said the White House is considering a plan to curb an array of software-powered exports to China to retaliate against Beijing's latest round of rare earth export restrictions. Global equities markets are easing off record highs as corporate earnings season kickoffs and investors take profits. South Korean stock, that's in Kospi here, also fell 0.7% amidst a broad decline for tech hardware manufacturers. Well, to the oil market now, crude oil prices jumped more than 3% today, extending gains from the previous session as Indian buyers started reviewing their Russian oil purchases after the United States imposed sanctions on major suppliers, Rosneft and Lukoil, over the Ukraine war. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to $60.59, positive 3.57%. Brent crude futures on its part sells for $64.75, also with an uptick of 3.45%, both very significant today. Bonnie Light sells for $78.62, but that's dipped in red 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers offer $62.04 per barrel. That's as an upsurge of 0.49%. Now let's get to our first conversation today. Now the President and Chief Executive of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has led a groundbreaking of a $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Gode, Ethiopia. The project is in partnership with the Dangote Group and Ethiopian Investment Holdings, with a production capacity of 3 million metric tons of urea annually, and is expected to become one of the world's largest fertilizer complexes. Located in Ethiopia's southeastern region, it is expected to leverage the country's abundant natural gas resources from the Hilal and Kalub reserves to boost agricultural productivity, create jobs, and enhance food productivity security across the African continent. Speaking at the ceremony, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, described the fertilizer project as more than just industrial progress, stressing that it symbolizes shared responsibility, cooperation, and peace. Prime Minister Abiy said the project reflects Ethiopia's commitment to harnessing opportunities and elevating its presence on the global stage. On his part, Dangote commended Ethiopian Prime Minister and his cabinet for reforms and economic liberalization that have opened the investments, of course, to private investments, and positioned Ethiopia as one of Africa's most attractive destinations for global investors. He lauded the government's investments in infrastructure, including transport, energy, and the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which he described as a foundation for the country's industrialization. Well, let's talk to Dr. Muda Yusuf. He is the founder and chief executive officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises, to give his perspective on what this means for the African continent. It's good to have you on the show, Dr. Yusuf. Good afternoon, and thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Tulu. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I think it's another step following the refinery built in Nigeria. Now we see another $2.5 billion fertilizer plant being inaugurated in Ethiopia. I want to make us understand what this means for the African continent and for Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote.
Well, thank you very much, Tulu. You know, Alhaji Aliko Dangote has said it repeatedly that it is only Africans that can develop Africa. That is not to diminish the importance of other investors from, Europe, America, Asia, and all of that. But you cannot compare the kind of commitment that African investors will have on their own continent to what level of commitment can come from other clients outside the continent. So he has that very strong conviction that Africans must take the lead in developing Africa. And I think that has been his cardinal philosophy. Because the kind of risk that Alhaji Aliko has been taking in terms of investing in Africa, I don't think there is any investor outside the continent that can take that risk, even within the continent. So he has been very bullish. And now that we are talking about this economic integration on the continent, using the platform of the African Continental Free Trade Area, there cannot be a better champion of this African economic integration. There cannot be a better champion of the AFCFTA than Alhaji Aliko Dangote, because he has his footprints effectively in almost 12, going to 15 countries on the continent, with very solid investments. We are talking about manufacturing investments, which is considered one of the most risky or the riskiest aspect of investment on the continent. So it's a very good thing. It's leading the way in terms of African economic integration. It's leading the way in terms of taking practical steps to promote the whole ideals of African Continental Free Trade Area. Another very important point, which we need to emphasize here, especially with respect to Ethiopia, is the commitment, political commitments to public-private partnership. I witnessed the event, and you could see the passion, the excitement, and the commitment of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. In fact, he said at a point that Alhaji Dangote is his investment advisor. That is the level of respect that Alhaji Aliko Dangote has, in that country. And sometimes when you listen to some of these expressions, you get a feeling that we are not even appreciating our own enough. It's even better appreciated outside the continent. You could see the excitement of the Prime Minister. So there is that strong political commitment to this private investment in Ethiopia. That is one lesson we must take away. Our indigenous investors need to be supported from the very top. Because the Prime Minister was there with his deputy, with all his key ministers to show that political support. And beyond that, that project is even a partnership it's in partnership with the Ethiopian government. They have an investment arm which is partnering with Dangote. So that means that even the Ethiopian government has a major stake in that investment. So it's a whole lot of lessons for us, as a country, and it's a whole lot of lessons as to how the kind of support we should be given to our own investors here in Nigeria. And I must also point out that there were quite a number of Nigerian banks at Ethiopia to support Alhaji Aliko Dangote in terms of funding. We had the Afrexim Bank was there, major Nigerian banks were there. So that shows their belief, trust, and confidence in the business judgment of Alhaji Aliko Dangote. So it is a very good thing for the continent, in my view. And I think we need to support more of these kind of initiatives to ensure that economic security of the continent is driven from within, not from without. That makes it a lot more sustainable.
All right, then. Now, talking about conducive business environment, which is what Alhaji Aliko alluded to, because I also spoke to him at that event, and he said a conducive business environment, the economy is opened and all of that. Particularly, what can we learn as a country with regards to opening up our environment and also allowing investors to come in? The fear sometimes here is... number one, many will talk about monopoly in some cases, but that's not really the issue here. The business environment is so wide for everyone to fly. So what are those particular things you think we need to learn as a country, one after the other, looking at what has happened in that? This is not the first investment, even in Ethiopia. I think it has a cement factory also in production already in Ethiopia.
Yeah, he already has a cement plant in Ethiopia. And he even said at that event that he was even going to expand the investment in cement in Ethiopia. And just as I said, Dangote cement is in about 12 countries on the continent. The big thing to learn from here is to stress the importance of political economy in the development of a country. And when I talk about political economy, I mean the interface between politics and business, the interface between political leadership and business, the complementarity between political leadership and business. That is extremely very, very important. Because we should see these investments not just as something that belongs to those investors. It's something that belongs to the country. Because the multiplier effects on the economy is huge. And that is one thing that came out clearly in what happened in Ethiopia. So we need to strengthen our political economy more constructively to facilitate more domestic investments. Because one thing that stood out with Ethiopia is the ease of doing business. And the ease of doing business flows is driven largely by the political leaders, by the political commitment, by the commitments of the political elites to private sector investment in a way that the political leadership take ownership of those investments because they know the value beyond the promoter of that investment, the value to the economy in terms of job creation, in terms of social stability, in terms of technology development, even in terms of revenue, and more importantly, in terms of economic security, energy security, food security. Because as a continent and as different countries on the continent, we need to be conscious of need for sovereignty in some critical economic sectors. That is what this is all about. So there's a lot to learn about, creating the environment, ease of doing business. We are doing a bit of that. The economy, our own economy is already open. There is no issue about that. The challenge we often have sometimes is the adequacy of the political commitment to ensure that indigenous entrepreneurs are supported. That is what we need to improve. And again, it is also important to stress that there is a lot of collaboration between all the private sector and all the key agencies in that country to support investment. And once the agencies see the leader, are they committed to the promotion of private investment? And in any case, just as I said, the Ethiopian government has a stake. It's a partnership. So they don't joke with it.
Yeah.
And the prime minister also was very emphatic about his zero tolerance for corruption. He was very emphatic that he doesn't tolerate, and in fact, he even said it, that after his tenure, he's open to probe. Anybody is free to probe him to see whether he has amassed any wealth as a result of his being in government. He was that confident about his, zero tolerance for corruption. So the environment needs to be very transparent. We should have zero tolerance for corruption, and the commitment of agencies to agencies of government to ease of doing business has to be top notch. So these are some of the things that stood out in this particular process that we just reported.
Indeed, you just touched on it, because I heard him talk about it, that no room for corruption, and if anyone asks for anything from Alhaji Dangote, you should get get across to him. And I think that is something that is very important when business owners, investors can be able to, establish manufacturing industries and all of that without issues of corruption or people putting them something under the table or something. But let me ask you, what do you think are the expected impact of this fertilizer plant when it comes into fission? Now, we expect it to come on in less than 3 years, according to Alhaji Dangote. He says this will come up in less than 3 years, according to him. But what are the expected benefits? What are the expected impacts of this moving forward? Not just for Ethiopia now, but even for the continent. What are your expectations?
Food security is a major security objective for any country and for any continent. As a continent, we should not have any business importing anything food. So this investment in fertilizer is a major step forward in promoting food security, in promoting food sovereignty. That is very, very important for any continent. And beyond that, I am sure that even some prospects of export also exist for Ethiopia and even for Dangote from that investment. So that is a major thing that we should realize in terms of the benefits to both Ethiopian government and people and to the continent. Because the capacity will grow, and if the capacity grows beyond the consumption capacity of Ethiopia, it will be exported. And who says some of those exports cannot even come to Nigeria to support, even though we have our own fertilizer plant here. But again, it opens up opportunities for trade within the continent. And one other important thing is that at that inauguration, I think the point was made that this is not just going to stop at the fertilizer plant.
Yeah.
There's also an aspiration to even undertake investment in refinery. So the prospects are even bigger than the refinery itself. And we have a huge opportunity on the continent. We have a GDP of almost $3 trillion and growing. We have a population of about 1.6 billion people. So the market is here, the resources are here. So we need to mobilize all this investment. And the fact that these investment decisions are driven by people who are indigenous investors on the continent has a lot more value because most of the benefits of those investments will be retained here. All this issue about capital flights, pressure on forex, and those things will be minimized. The more we have such investors that are here, that are indigenous, that are supported by government. So the opportunities are immense. And the beauty of this, again, from an industrialization strategy point of view, is that whatever Alhaji Aliko Dangote is stepping into, most of those investments are resource-based. That's what we call resource-based industrialization. That is the most sustainable strategy of industrialization. Because to support that fertilizer plant, the major consideration was the presence of gas in Ethiopia. Because the production of fertilizer is almost maybe 80-70% gas. The same thing with cement. The same thing with the refineries. So the resource availability is a major consideration in industrialization. And we have to take that on board as part of the philosophy of industrialization, as part of the industrialization strategy. So that we don't have an industrial sector that will be exerting so much pressure on foreign exchange. The industrial sector should be earning foreign exchange, not putting pressure of demand on foreign exchange. That is not to say that industries will not import, of course. There's no country that is self-sufficient in everything, but it has to be minimal. And in order to minimize that import dependence, we have to focus a lot more on resource-based industrialization and support it as much as we can.
Great stuff. Resource-based industrialization. I'm holding on to that. Finally, DJ, before I let you go, you've touched on the very important AFCFTA